So how many of you guys saw this advertisement from XTool and thought, oh, that looks really, really cool? Especially if you're into doing any form of like quilting or fabric work, being able to print on your own fabric must come as a absolute game changer. With the XTool having the ability to print on any surface, being able to print on fabric is an awesome use of this tool. And I definitely commend them for creating this ad. I mean, definitely piqued a lot of people's interest. And it's like, oh, imagine I could, print my own fabric. This would be great. And you can even laser cut it in the machine. You can cut cotton fabric with the M2 laser. It's just a matter of dialing in the settings. But how many of you people then watched this video and went, wait a minute, is the ink waterproof? Yeah, about that. So the inkjet cartridge in the XTool printer is like any other printer ink cartridge on the market. It, for the most part, is not going to be waterproof. Now, you can print on the fabric beautifully the first time. The challenge is, of course, when you go to run it through the washing machine. And what would be the point of printing on fabric if you can't get it wet? There has to be a way to get standard printer ink to stay on fabric. So it turns out a solution does, in fact, exist. And I am going to show you guys how to do that. So when I set out trying to figure this out, I'm willing to bet that this has come up for people in the past. I can't imagine printing on fabric hasn't been something that the crafting community hasn't pursued in the last 20 years, especially with the advent of the internet. So I went kind of looking, following some crafting blog trails to see if I could find an answer to that. And I came up with a couple of suggestions. One of which being, oh, you could soak your fabric in vinegar, and that should, in theory, fix the ink. And I tried that and pretty much got kind of similar results to my control. Everything still ended up kind of rinsing out, maybe not quite as much, but to the point where it was still pretty much unusable. But another solution that I found recommended on several crafting blogs was this product called BubbleJet 2000. Now, the whole purpose of BubbleJet 2000 is it's literally designed to actually fix the printer ink onto the fabric. And it actually does a pretty good job. It just requires you basically pre-treating your fabric before doing this. But basically what you do is you pour the solution in a bowl or container and you soak your fabric that you're going to be working with for about 5 minutes. Now, working with this product, it does recommend that you work in a ventilated area, and it does recommend that you use gloves. Personally, I didn't find the solution to have any smell whatsoever. I was pleasantly surprised. And you guys know me, I'm as sensitive to smells as it gets, depending on where I am in my microrain cycle. I was still obviously working in my office space. This is a larger room, and I always kind of have my air filter going whenever I'm working, but I didn't at least notice any heavy smells. Now, the formula itself does list on the ingredients that it contains a little bit of formaldehyde. I'm not sure if that's what's fixing the ink. It's certainly possible, but that's definitely something that you probably don't want to be touching quite a bit of. So I definitely recommend using gloves with this, especially since you have to kind of soak the fabric and manipulate it a little bit. At least put some gloves on. Anyway, so once you've soaked all of this for 5 minutes, you're going to want to wring it out and lay it flat to dry. If you want to speed the process up, you could certainly hit it with a heat gun. And then once it's air dried, you're going to want to obviously iron it. And then we're going to get it set into the printer. With the M2, you have two options of doing this. You can either opt to do the print then cut all completely on the bed of the unit, or you can print the fabric on the bed and then raise it up and do a laser cut. So it's really dependent on you. I did both techniques. I've been playing around with cutting fabric and figuring out my settings, and I had done it suspended in this little jig that I've made that is designed to hold 12 by 12 inch paper. It is, by the way, available on XTool's like Atom system. Like you can look for like a 12 by 12 paper jig and it'll pop up. It works really well to hold paper, and it gets it off the ground so you're not getting as much charring as a result. With the print then cut features in the M2 Ultra, I'm finding you're getting better results if you're doing the print portion on the bottom of the laser bed. I've tried to print then cut inside this little jig, and honestly, the print head just moves it around. So once I had the fabric repaired, I taped it to the bottom of the M2 bed and then loaded in my art, did the typical camera capture, measure the height, line things up. So you can print, you can choose the saturation that you're going to print it at. I printed at 100% and just let it go. And about 5 minutes later, I've got these really cool designs. Now it's just a matter of getting them cut out and trimmed. The easy way to do this, it would be to select your art pieces and create an offset line. So I went in and created an offset of about 4 mm, and then I had the lines simplified so that the vectors were a little bit cleaner. You can really tailor how close that offset is. Like if you really want a lot of space because you're planning to sort of sew and create, I don't know, like a little mini pillow or something, or if you're wanting to get it much closer, you can dial it in all the way down. So I'm doing this with 2 projects. I'm doing sort of these mini pillows, and then I'm also creating a couple of batches for some embroidery patches that I've been creating. That one I'm going to cut pretty close right along the edge because I've automatically kind of sized that art and it matches the embroidery that's in my embroidery machine. With the pillow ones, I opted to have them cut with them being elevated in my little jig. This works pretty well. In terms of settings, you're going to want to pick something that matches the material you're working with. In this case, this is a fairly lightweight cotton. It's pretty thin. I found the settings within XTool. It recommended going 100% at 2 mm/s, so moving extremely slow, but it should cut in one pass. When I actually went to run the cut, I actually found that it honestly cut much better than I expected. Like it cut through the fabric like butter with just a little bit of scorching. So at some point, I'm going to go back and do a proper material test and see how fast I can speed it up so that the process is a little bit faster with the laser cutting. The other ones that I did, my patch ones, I did on a thicker material, a cotton twill that I use so that the patches are a little bit stiffer. Now, this material I've actually tried to laser cut before suspended. It was proving to be really problematic. I don't quite know why. I imagine it's probably more related to the limitations of diode laser as well as it being the color white. Or it could have just been that the time that I was doing that, the laser wasn't feeling like working. I seriously think sometimes there are days where the laser decides, no, I really just don't want to work for you. And then the next day it's like, yeah, I'm warmed up and good. And I think of that about all my machines. There are days that the Tweaky Cloud, I'm like, why are you acting this way? And then the next day it's working perfectly fine. I think sometimes they have minds of their own. Heard that. Anyway, so for this one, I opted to kind of do an additional element, and that is that I put the cotton twill with a layer of black tearaway embroidery backing. This is from Brotherhead. It's listed as being 100% polyester. That is completely laser safe as well. And then I opted to do this print and cut all on the bottom of the bed. The bottom of the laser bed is going to stop the laser, and so it's going to get charred up. I know some people don't like to mess up the bottom of their laser bed. Like, I'm going to be real honest, that's fighting entropy at its finest. The laser bed is literally designed to block the laser. If you're wanting to minimize the damage, you can easily put a piece of aluminum foil on the bottom of it. That makes for easy cleanup. In fact, that's what's in my crumb tray right now, is a layer of aluminum foil. I periodically take it out and replace it because it, residue and all of that gets gunked up. In this case, I happen to have picked up an aluminum sheet. I opted to go ahead and just put that at the bottom of my machine. Then I taped the 2 layers with the embroidery backing as well as the fabric on top of it, securing it with tape. You're going to want to secure your fabric when you're doing this. So with the print then cut method, it will have you start with the printer, it'll do all of that, it'll finish, and then it'll have you swap out for the laser head. Now with this process, you swap out the laser head, close it, click start. It will then proceed to cut. Now, you're not going to get any ability to change alignments or anything like that. So the material needs to stay in place. That's why I recommend taping it down, which can be a little challenging if you're wanting to print with the material up. You can't necessarily do the print then cut together if you're having to lift the material up because you're concerned about charring underneath. In this case, I wanted to do it all at once and see how my results came out. And this is a thicker material, so I ran it on the recommended settings, which was 100% at 5, and kind of crossed my fingers because before that hadn't worked. But this time, running it completely on the bed, on the floor bed with the backing underneath, it cut through beautifully again. Slight little bit of charring on the edge, and when I pulled them out, you could definitely tell that the polyester underneath was pretty chipped at a little bit. So I imagine if I dial in the speed, that would probably resolve that problem. Again, that's sort of material array testing. So the charred edging isn't going to be seen because it's going to get sewn and tucked into the pillow, or it's going to be completely covered by embroidery. Either way, I got good results both ways. And that's even with the fabric not being lifted up and it just being directly on the plate, because that is kind of the concern. If you don't have enough air, you can get some flashback. But it still cut the material, no problem, and I got good results. Now, According to the bubble jet instructions, once you have it printed, you need to wait about 30 minutes to kind of let the ink fully dry, set into the fabric. You're then going to want to wash the material using a mild detergent. Now, I know Bubble Jet sells a mild detergent that they recommend and use, but their bottle also says you can use any mild detergent, or you could wash it with a mild detergent on the delicate cycle in your washing machine. I opted to just go ahead and kind of rinse the pieces by hand with some gentle detergent that I've had since pandemic days. It's designed for like cleaning knits and such, and I kind of went through a knitting phase at that point. It's nothing magical, whatever mild detergent you guys want to use, really. So once you wash them, rinse them out with cold water, wring them out, and then effectively, again, we let things dry. At this point, you can kind of use it however you want. So in this case, I used one of the patches to create a patch, and then the other two were designed to basically create sort of a little mini stuffed pillow. My sewing job is probably going to leave many seamstresses rolling on the ground laughing, but at the very least, it does work and it does show proof of concept. So we've got these tiny little pillows that I created. This is fabric that was printed in the M2. You watched me rinse this fabric out after the ink was applied. It stayed, no problem. I've also got the patch that I did. This turned out pretty good other than me trying to draw the face onto my little guy. I struggle a little bit with getting like super fine details with the embroidery, and so I usually apply it with a paint pen, and unfortunately my paint pen slipped. So this guy looks like he's been eating something a little disturbing. Again, still worked pretty well. Now I could toss these guys in the washing machine to just kind of follow and see how they went. I did do that with my initial tester sample pieces. After doing the initial process, I ran them through a quick wash with just regular Tide detergent on tap cold water. And so with the vinegar and the control sample, I really honestly can't tell the difference. They all pretty much washed out except for the yellow ink, which doesn't really surprise me. I think yellow ink is a very heavy, light, fast, it's not coming out color. But then doing the bubble jet sample, it washed and it stayed. It looked pretty much the same as previously. And you can see this is it after washing. Still holds up pretty good. And when I ran this test, I actually clicked 80% saturation versus the 100%. So I think these will ultimately hold up even better in the washing machine. So you can, with the M2 Ultra, print on fabric and get it to stay and be waterproof, washable, at least on typical gentle code water settings. It just requires a little bit of prep work. So there we have it, a solution to create waterproof fabric with the new M2 color laser. If you're interested in getting the XTool's new color laser, the M2, I have an affiliate link below in my description that you are welcome to use. Using it gives me a little bit of kickback that helps keep the channel running. But you could always just go to XTool's website directly and it should pop up. It's their latest product, so there's plenty of links directing you to the page. If you want to see more content like this, by all means, click the subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications. Also, if you could tap the like button to tell the Eldritch algorithm that this video was a good one, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.